So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about what healing actually looks like for the high achieving woman. So it doesn't always look like crying for hours on a therapist's couch, which, and there's no shade in that, perfect, because I've done that myself. But healing can look different. It can be quiet. It can look like you simply going to the store and you're buying something specifically for you because you want to. That can be healing. Healing can be saying no to someone and not worried if they're going to be mad or upset at you. Of course, I don't mean in a malicious way, but simply as a boundary, saying no and not feeling bad about how the person may feel or wondering how they're going to figure it out. Healing can look like everybody doing everything they want to do. I should be out. I should be going out. I should be doing this. But it can simply look like staying in on a Friday night because your body needs that rest. So I am Semone Sims. I am a certified life coach, but more importantly, I've been the woman that's been successful on the outside while quietly falling apart on the inside. I've been that woman who takes care of everything, who didn't ask for help. Asking for help made me feel weak. And that feeling of feeling weak made me feel like I was going to lose everything I worked hard for. So I didn't ask people for help. And it took for me to really have a moment of sitting down and saying, well, Mom, what do you really want? Can you just go do what you want without feeling guilty about it, without, because you're doing this because somebody needs it, without you're doing this because it's the right thing to do? Can you just go do what you want and live out loud just because you want to? And I couldn't answer that question. I had silence. And that's when I knew something in my life needed to change. I knew something in my life needed to change when I didn't know who I was outside of the titles and the roles that I had. So that is exactly what I help women with. I help women who are successful on paper with all your titles, responsibility, and roles. I help you live a more fulfilling life that's in alignment to who you are supposed to be. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to the high achieving woman. What's a high achieving woman? A high achieving woman is a healthcare worker. You know, she stacked all the titles, she got her degree, she takes care of everybody else, but she doesn't know how to take care of herself. A high achieving woman can be a mom who is the CEO of her house. She manages every single thing that needs to happen, needs to go on, and she doesn't have a co-founder. A high achieving woman is a professional woman who's climbed every ladder, every title, every role, accomplished everything, but got to the top of that ladder and like, is this it? Is this all life has to offer? A high achieving woman is a caregiver, a woman who gives so much to others that if she's not giving, she doesn't know who she is. And so those are the high achieving women that I work with. So I wanted to have this conversation. I wanted to dive straight into this video. So the first thing we are going to talk about is, what does healing actually look like in real life? So with the world of social media, everything is thrown at us and everything is supposed to be a particular way or a particular step, or it should be this. That's not the reality for everybody. It's not like that's like a highlight reel. Healing is not always a highlight reel. Sometimes it is ugly. Sometimes it is dusty. Sometimes it's a lot of tears. But sometimes healing is very quiet. It's a very quiet transaction. It's almost like people on the outside can't even see you're actually healing on the inside. You know, it's kind of like a caterpillar. Think of a caterpillar. So let's think about a caterpillar, right? So a caterpillar creates a cocoon, goes through this big transformation, boom, it's a butterfly. So I want us to think of healing that way. From the outside, we don't know what's going on inside of that cocoon. We don't know what's going on. We know there is some true disruption. There is some tearing apart and putting back together. And we know when it comes out, it's a beautiful butterfly. So, but we don't know what's going on. And on the outside, it looks like nothing's happening. You know, like really think about that. We cannot hear what is going on inside of that cocoon. It's not loud sobbing and screaming. Although, I mean, when you think about it, it could be a really horrific sight what's going on inside. but we can't see it. It's quiet. We don't hear anything. And that's what healing for the high achieving woman looks like. It looks like quiet moments of her trusting herself to say, no, I cannot do that without feeling, without worrying about every possibility that may go wrong or worrying, will this particular person be mad at me? So healing can look like someone offering you help and you simply saying yes. You ever thought about that? Did you know healing can look like someone saying, hey, do you need help with this particular thing? Healing can look like you actually opening your mouth and saying, I need help. It's actually something you have to learn how to do. Healing can look like going in a restaurant simply by yourself and ordering exactly what you want to order. Healing can look like boundaries. Healing can look like you pausing before you apologize about something that's not in your fault. Healing can look like not overcompensating for how someone else may feel. So healing isn't always loud. Healing is loud to many aspects, but it's not always loud. Sometimes healing is very quiet. This is something that I will actively do, whether it's in a car or closet. So healing looks like crying in a car and not immediately getting yourself together before you get out that car. It looks like sitting in that for a moment. It's not always a rush and a hurry. It's not. I'm a life coach, so I talk to people all the time. Healing is quiet. It can just be you and a pen and a pencil spilling your heart out about everything you went through. Healing is not always loud. It's not always a grand dame. It's not always, yes, you do cry and you heal, but it's not always a cry. It's kind of like you're giving yourself permission to want something. Because, you don't lack ambition. And what is ambition? Ambition is the willpower and the want to succeed. So you're going to work towards, okay, what do I need to do in order to succeed? So you don't lack ambition, that feeling of that strong and that willpower to, that determination to succeed, but you do lack permission. And so healing is giving yourself permission to need something and someone, permission to want something, and permission to actually rest. I know so many women, strong women, and I love them. There's nothing wrong with being strong because I'm a strong woman. But it is something wrong when you are stuck in a strong woman trap, which is a coping mechanism surrounded by surviving. But I know so many strong women stuck in a trap, stuck in the strong women loop that don't know how to rest. Like they don't. And I always say it's not just a nap, but you might need one. But they actually don't know how to sit down in quiet for 20 minutes. It's like, man, I'm gonna go crazy. My mind thinking about 20,000 different things. If I don't get up from here, and they feel irresponsible. Life throws us so many things. Life throws us in so many loops. And then we'll say, I'm tired, but I shouldn't be tired. I still got to do this, that, and the third. When you sit and think about everything you went through for the week, you had to take them kids back and forth. You had to deal with something emotionally. You had to do something big financially. You still had to go to your job. You might not have feel well. You probably had a migraine. All of that stuff. And you will sit and say, well, dang, why I'm tired? I don't know why I'm so tired. Honey, you don't went through 20,000 things. You should be. Women, we are not men. And we need to get that through our head. You do not have, okay, yes, I do believe that we have feminine and masculine energy. But honey, are we 100% masculine? No, ma'am, you are not a man. He can pick up his hands and he can do it. It's no problem. Just like he can't do what you can do as a woman. I know in the job market, in the workplace, like a lot of high achieving women have to put on that masculine, give more of their masculine energy because we're looked at a certain way. You can't be soft and, in the workplace. But it's like, don't get caught in that. Like, don't get caught in the fact that you think you gotta figure it all out, the fact that you think, hey, I ain't supposed to be tired, the fact that you think I'm not supposed to be sad. We are emotional beings, and it's time for us to seriously start tapping into our emotions and seriously start listening to how we actually feel and not feel bad about it. We are feminine. We are women. We have feelings. Yes, femininity is not just the color pink, like my favorite mentor, Ava Mason, says. It's not. It's more of a being. But inside of that being, a woman, as ambitious as we have to be able to trust our intuition and give ourselves permission to need, permission to rest, permission to want. And healing is that permission. And it doesn't take 6 to 7 years. For some people, it may. But I'm here to tell you, healing can start right now in this moment. Healing can start with you simply going in the store and Publix, when they ask can they carry your bags to the car, yes, they are taking a load off you that you don't have to carry. Healing can be just receiving. So many of us do not know how to actually receive from people. Someone does something nice. Oh, no, no, that's okay. I used to be the queen of that. I used to be the queen of, oh, no, I got it. Oh, no, you don't have to. For what? For what? I'm already tired. Why not get somebody to help me with this simple task? I'm already aggravated. Like, it's time for us to let it go and understanding. I think a lot of us are in fear of healing. I think a lot of us don't know where to start to heal. I think a lot of us see healing as what it looks like on social media, crying in the bathroom. Yeah, cry in that bathroom because I'm one to cry. But I'll go in that prayer closet and I'm going to cry my eyes out and I'm going to wipe my nose and I'm going to feel better. And I think a lot of us see that, just that as healing, and we're afraid to do that. And it's time for us to understand life is too precious. We only get one. So now I want to talk about why the high achieving woman resists, the high achieving woman, why she resists healing. And I kind of briefly just stated that because of what we think healing actually looks like. But the main reason why high achieving women in general resist healing is because productivity feels safer. When I'm busy, I can control what's happening. When I'm at work, I am more of a systematic person. So yes, I work in healthcare. Yes, I work as a life coach, but I'm systematic, I'm strategic, I'm analytical. I can control what's fixing to happen as long as I got a plan to a certain extent. Even when things go out, I still have control. When we rest, when we stop, when we sit, sometimes we don't have control of what emotion may come up or what may come next. And that's hard to deal with. You good at checking the boxes, you good at sending the emails, you good at walking in and telling the doctor this, you good at, hey, let's do this to this patient, you good at having this conversation in front of a team of your colleagues, you're good at that. You know, that's familiar and that's safe. But to sit and tell yourself that, hey, you're going to say no to this particular thing for your loved one because it's draining you, you battle with that. You battle with that. To sit and go in the store and not worry about every single thing the child needs and just specifically worry about what you may need in that moment, you battle with that. And it's tough. It's not easy. I was that mom. I was so wrapped up in my identity of being a mother and a spouse that I forgot who I was. I didn't even know who I was, like outside of being a mother and a spouse. It's like, and my job title. Like when I introduce myself, I would introduce myself as, hey, I'm a mom of three, I'm a so and so, and I do this particular career. I didn't know how to simply say, oh yeah, I'm a jokester. I love to laugh. I'm feminine, I'm wise, spiritual. I didn't know how to say who I was as a person, not the titles that I have. And so when you're actually going through healing, healing is going to ask you to slow down. And slowing down is not easy. It's extremely uncomfortable. I think I just did a little short video about, I can't remember what it was about. I do a lot of videos, but I do believe I said something about how basically giving yourself permission is going to be uncomfortable when you've never done it before. It's going to be like a learning situation. Just like when you went to work and you learned how to do your job and now you're a beast at it. it's going to be the same way with learning how to give yourself permission, becoming more self-aware, and trusting your intuition. It's going to be the same exact thing. So you're going to have to be patient with yourself. But it is going to require for you to slow down, to sit with discomfort without immediately fixing it. That is the hard part. To sit in discomfort without immediately fixing it is one of the reasons why women resist healing. And then there's also the fear that if she slows down long enough, I might fall apart. Like, I don't know. So y'all, it's so deep to me because I used to live this life and I know so many women who live it. I don't know who I am outside of what I do. So if I stop doing what I do as a career, as a mom, as a spouse, as a anything in school, if I slow down enough, I might lose who I am. If I slow down long enough, this feel irresponsible. I just posted a video on my page of this lady who who basically she was showing a video of her just rushing just to put some groceries up. And then she actually took a breath in and she stopped and put the groceries up. You know, when you think about that, you know, how many of us do that? But that is actually healing. I had to learn that for myself. How many times I have to take a breath and relax my shoulders? How many times when I'm walking through the grocery store, of course I'm going to get one thing, but why am I rushing to get in and out the store? I mean, of course we don't want to spend all our money, so I get I get that. We don't want to pick up things we don't have to, but why am I in such a hurry? Even eating your food, why I'm eating so fast? Like, what in the world? Why, when I came back from the grocery store, why am I picking up every single bag trying to take it in the house? I have to teach that to my daughters. Like, no, baby, like, don't put all the bags around your arm and you look like you're trying to put one around your neck. No, ma'am. Get a few bags, take it in the house, come back. That's actually healing. You are healing your nervous system. You are healing your mind. We are stuck, and I always say it because it's the truth. We are stuck in our sympathetic nervous system. We are always in a fight, and freeze. Fight, flight, and freeze state. Survival. That's survival. You know? You in the grocery store walking fast just to get a can of beans. Like, chill. Like, yes. And then we crunch so many things into our schedule and trying to move through. It's time to stop doing that. I know productivity feels safer, but it's not good. It's not good when it doesn't stop. Persistent, constant productivity without states of rest. Do you know that will do something to your brain? Not getting adequate rest will affect your brain, will affect your life. It will cause dis-ease in your life. And then there's also the fear of, if I do all this work and I do all this healing, I might not like the woman that I am, really, underneath everything I mask. People around me might leave because I'm not really strong or I can't really handle certain things. And what if I open up my life and I cannot close it back? So healing requires vulnerability. It does, and vulnerability is not always easy. But to a certain extent, it's necessary. Now, I don't mean, and don't confuse that with being naive. Now, we're not naive over here. You know what I'm saying? We know how to actually stand up for ourselves and take care of ourselves and not let people take advantage of us. But there's still a state of, I need to open up and allow people to come help me. I need to allow myself to not be so hardened and hard. I need to really slow down. And so being busy is something you can manage. It's like, yeah, I can manage that. I can manage being busy because I'm used to, using my two hands as if it's 7, 8, 9, 10 hands. But unprocessed grief and unacknowledged needs and pain, that's quite hard to manage. That's quite hard for you to manage. To actually sit with yourself and think about life and the things you've been through and tell yourself, I need to do better. I'm worth more than this. I am worth more than what I've allowed to happen to me, and I'm no longer going to allow it to happen to me. So if it takes for me to have some boundaries, if it takes for me to take my step out, if it takes for me to slow down, that is something I'm going to have to do because I am important, and it's only one me in this world. And once I die, it's not going to be another me. I only get one life, and I need to live that life to my fullest. I know I'm fussing a little bit, but there's so much passion behind this. It's just it's serious. I'm sitting here as I sit here and I'm talking to you all. I constantly look at this wall I did. I had a brunch back in March. It was called Spring Clean Brunch. It was a soft space for women who carry a lot, and we did an activity with the board. I might take a picture of the board. I don't know because it's kind of sacred to me. What women silently carry. And I'm looking at some of the things on this board: trauma, stress, fear, anxiety, caretaker, hurt, support and understanding, judgment, strength, perfection, depression. And the group of women that I coach and talk to, so many of us carry this and we feel like we are alone and we're not. And so I feel like it's my purpose. Yeah, I know it's my purpose to make sure I cater to y'all and to give y'all the real, true, and authentic me because, girl, you ain't out here by yourself. I've lived that. That's been my identity. And I actually changed it. And you can change it too. So it's that deep to me. And so, what does the woman on the other side of healing actually looks like? The first thing I need you to understand is that this woman is not perfect. She's not. You need to hear that. You need to understand that. This is not a highlight reel. This is the truth. She still goes through things. She still struggles with things. She still gets triggered. And she still has moments where the old survival patterns of life shows up. The only difference is this woman carries it differently. She's way more self-aware. She's way more in tune. She can catch it when it's happening and say, you know what? Let me relax. Let me drop my shoulders. Let me inhale. Let me exhale. I'm in a state of survival mode right now. Let me relax. Let me activate my parasympathetic nervous system, which is my rest and digest. Let me take a moment for me. Let me take myself out. The woman on the other side of healing still deals with things. The only difference is she's more aware. She notices it. She has language for it. You don't want to be a woman who can't even acknowledge that, hey, I'm stuck in this cycle. And as soon as it starts, you can't catch it. You don't want to be that woman that as soon as a cycle of negativity or something that's not God's will for your life starts, you can't catch it. You want to be the type of woman soon as, hey, I'm off today. Why? Okay, the fact that I'm off, I probably need to go do something for me today. I'm sick. I'm gonna have to call out of work. Now I'm gonna go to work and I'm sick, and then it's gonna run into a bigger doctor bill, or I'm gonna be even more chronically sick. And I get it. Of course, there's different levels of sickness, and everybody got bills to pay. But be the type of woman. This woman on the other side of healing is the type of woman that understands that she matters. She has needs, and she can ask and receive. This woman on the other side of healing, she can receive. She can receive good. She doesn't think of everything as a disaster or worst case scenario. And I know preparation is needed. So preparation is needed. But to be in a constant state of catastrophic anxiety, no, that's not needed. And so the woman on the other side of healing looks like the woman who has relationships that goes both ways. Relationships where she is needed but also has needs and that other person can help her with her needs. It's a two-way street. The woman on the other side of healing is a one that is living the life that God created her to live, and she does it with God, not instead of God. So there's purpose after pain. There's purpose in the pain. Let me say that. There is purpose in the pain. But you got to get to a point where you can understand that. Your life is not just supposed to be full of pain and regret and everything that's not good, and you're not supposed to get something from it. All right. So y'all know always I gotta leave you with the Bible verse, and I got my paper right here because I'm gonna read this to y'all because I try not I gotta make sure y'all it say what the Bible say. Okay. So the verse that we got today is Romans 12:2. It says, and this is the New King James Version. It says, and do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may be able to prove what is the good and acceptable and the perfect will of God. So the fact that it says, do not be conformed by this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, we have to understand that this takes examination. We have to examine where we are currently in our life, where what we dealt with in our past, what we've gone through, and not be conformed to that. You know, looking at it is it. Survival mode has shaped us so much, and we have to understand we don't gotta hold on to it because the rest of the world does it, and it's normal to them, and it's all my aunties and it's all my family's ever done. It's all the women I've ever known growing up or around me have ever done. We don't have to conform to it. We don't. But we gotta be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So you think back of that caterpillar going into that cocoon and coming out totally different. We have to renew our mind. We have to renew how we see things. We have to renew understanding what survival mode is. We have to renew healing. What does healing look like? We have to renew what does productivity, constant productivity do. We have to renew what does rest look like for me? What is rest? I'm not weak because I rest. We have to renew how do I look at having needs and desires. We have to renew our relationship with God and what He really and the life He really wants us to live. There's not a life of a poverty mindset. So a butterfly does not go back to caterpillar. She becomes only what she could exist to become because of everything she went through. And that's what healing looks like. That's a transformation built from so that is a transformation built from everything that you've survived and everything you were meant to become. Take care.
I'm so glad you're here, and I don't take it lightly that you have given me this time. Subscribe if this has landed with you, because this is just the beginning of what we are building here. I'll see you in the next one.